Okay, so we're back. I'm sorry for leaving you during wildcard weekend. I had some problems to deal with, but we're over that now, and we're on to the divisional round where, oh god, so much heartbreak. So let's get right into it. The first of the 4 divisional games involved the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans. This was a game that nobody expected to be close, but the first half was a complete shock to everyone, me included. I was losing my mind. You may have forgot already, but let me take you back to that first quarter, hell, basically the whole first half, because the Ravens offense was just doing nothing. It really looked like they were going to do another collapse again, but this team is different, because although like the 2019 team also had an amazing defense, this one just doesn't break. They can lose seemingly any piece, and it just doesn't matter as long as they have Roquan and Patrick Queen and I guess a few other dudes who are staples on that defense. This team can still beat anyone, and they made CJ Stroud look like he just didn't know what he was doing out there. He immediately snapped the ball and was just pressured on almost every single play, and if you can get him out of the pocket and get him uncomfortable, then you're not going to lose the game. Call it nerves or what have you, but CJ Stroud just didn't look like himself out there. But I gotta say, this was just one thing that just grinded my f***ing gears the entire year about the Texans. They have Devin Singletary as the running back, and God bless his soul, but the man sucks. It's not really his fault, he's just not talented, but the Texans just continued to lean on the run all year long. They really held back CJ Stroud, which sounds insane because of the historic rookie season he already had, but the run game was just not going to go anywhere in this game especially, and they just kept sticking to it, just throwing away crucial plays and taking away like one run. Devin Singletary basically had under 10 yards in the first half. So while the offense for Houston was struggling, their defense, more specifically their front seven, was just dominant out there. They looked angry and hungry, and they were actually clamping up Lamar outside of one drive. But then everything changed when they got the punt return for the touchdown, and all of a sudden the entire world went, holy f***ing shit. The Ravens are going to lose, aren't they? However, I said it in a short, I think, but halftime Lamar Jackson. Something about him going into the locker room and relieving himself is just, it changes the guy. And he came out in the second half, and the MVP, Lamar Jackson, was revealed. Simply put, the guy was just not around anymore. He was like, okay, dude, I'm not going to lose to the goddamn Houston Texans. And the man was just dicing him up, doing whatever he wanted when he wanted. And the game was uncompetitive after the Isaiah Likely touchdown. So that was it. The Ravens are moving on to the AFC Championship, and Houston, I mean, this is probably the most happy a team can really be after a playoff loss. Let's really just think back here. Go through your brain and remember how we got here. You had a rookie quarterback drafted 2nd overall when, remember, last year, in the final week of the season, it looked like Davis Mills was just going to ruin your team for the next 10 years after a game-winning touchdown to fumble the #1 pick, but that's just how things work out. You ended up getting your franchise quarterback, and it was said on the broadcast, but you have just so much to look forward to. You have a coach who's going to be here for a while, you have a quarterback you can trust, a star wide receiver damn near, and young pieces on defense. So this is nothing to be ashamed of. Don't cry because it's over. Just cry tears of joy that it happened. Your team is going to be competitive for the next couple of years. Just, maybe get rid of as many massage parlors in the area as possible. Don't let anything like that happen.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you, all right? I'm going to keep it a $1.50 with you for a second, all right? After this game, I actually just sat on my bed for like at least 45 minutes. I just did this. I sat here and I just stared forward for like at least 45 minutes. I was befuddled. I know this team is young, and that's the excuse that everyone's going to say, right? Is they're young, they're only going to get better from here, but I mean, you gotta understand, as someone who's been through the entire Aaron Rodgers experience, or at least since my consciousness was picked up in like 2011, there's so fleeting chances to actually even get to just an NFC Championship appearance that when you come this close and blow it, even if you're not supposed to be there, it's going to just sting every single time, no matter of where your franchise is at. I mean, this game is just so much more devastating than I think everyone is giving it credit for. The Packers had... saying they had so many chances it's such a understatement, man. It really is. We gotta remember that Brock Purdy basically almost threw a pick six immediately when the game began. The game could have just been 10-0 like that, and we were gonna see the Dallas game 2.0, but the Packers fucked it up. They fucked it up! And then on their next drive, when it looked like they were going to just take the momentum swing anyways, 4th and 1, they can't get it. They can't get a yard on 4th down and 1. I mean, those are 2 prime opportunities that you just flushed down the toilet. Do you think that you're going to beat the best team in the NFL already making 2 mistakes early on in the game? Hell no. But the Niners were just, they were so off. The only reason they got a touchdown in the first half was a Joe Barry blitz that got absolutely zero pressure. And then Shanahan just, very interestingly, with 4 minutes left in the second quarter, decided to play for a field goal. I really don't understand this. I mean, if somebody has like a better explanation, then please give it to me, but the Niners offense versus the Packers defense, and they just looked scared out there. They looked like they didn't feel like they had the advantage, which is, I mean, dude, you have the offensive player of the year, the best left tackle in damn near NFL history, Brandon Ayuk, and what else do you need, man? Yet, they just played for the field goal with a rookie kicker in the rain, mind you, and what do you know? Came back to bite him in the. So yeah, it looked like playoff Shanahan was really coming out to play, and then they went 3 and out right away to start the second half. I'll say it again later on, but I actually feel like the 49ers were playing any other team in the playoffs except maybe like the Texans. They would have lost this game. But god damn it, the Packers' ability to choke, man, it is like nothing I've ever seen before. But the 49ers were on a mission to lose this game. So Tayshaun Gibson drops to the floor, and Bo Melton, he's in the league. He scored a touchdown in the divisional game. All right, oh sure, whatever. Then the Niners finally got something going because the Packers defense that has been getting a consistent amount of pressure all game long, turns out they can't do it forever. And when you have all-pro talent, they're going to make all-pro plays. And eventually Christian McCaffrey, who is pretty good at football, found himself in the end zone. Now this is where things go off the wall. On the ensuing kickoff, the Keyshawn Nixon to Rich Bisaccia former Raiders connection was in full swing. The kickoff was up. He fielded it, and he kept on going, and it looked like he was going to score. And then he fumbles. But then he got it back. Excuse me, but what the fuck is going on? God, I love the playoffs, man. And although Jordan Love was pretty bad in the entire second half, if you're put inside basically the 20-yard line, he can throw a 1-yard touchdown pass. And he did exactly that. And the Packers still have a chance to win this game. Turns out the 2-point conversion they would pick up on their touchdown turned out to be huge because the 49ers now needed a touchdown if they would get a field goal. And then Brock Purdy almost threw another goddamn interception, and they got away with it. And then here came the Packers on their next drive, and guess what the fuck happens? A tip drill interception. Guys, I'm not a Packers fan. I just need to make that clear to some of you who don't know that, but I was losing my goddamn mind at this point. And then the 49ers still didn't show signs of life, but their kicker made a field goal, so it's all good. They can now just rely on their defense because Jordan Love is going to do nothing but trip over his own feet and miss another wide open receiver for another first down. I mean, how many more mistakes can be made? Then Brock Purdy finally made some great plays, picking up crucial third downs, but I mean, he had so many opportunities. And then, this is the worst part. This is the worst part of the entire game. Aaron Jones, who had a great first drive and then kind of was slowed down after the Niners adjusted their scheme, made a game-winning play. This play should be remembered forever in Packers lore as the game that knocked off the first seed and the play that did it. But then, the Packers did nothing. One of their best offensive players makes the best play of damn near his career, and Jordan Love just sits in the corner, slaps his meat against his left thigh, and shits himself. But I guess it could be worse. You know, a 41-yard field goal isn't unmakeable.
Carlson, no!
Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. Don't get me wrong, but you know, at least there's a minute left on the clock. The Niners scored pretty quickly, so Jordan Love can go have a legacy drive, and you know, Hey, actually, things are looking pretty good now. It's 1st and 10. They have multiple timeouts, and you got all the time in the world to really let a play develop, and you can even throw it away if you really need to. You got all...
Love. Pressure up the middle. Runs away. Throws across his body! And that is picked! 49ers have it!
Do you want to go to the NFC Championship, Green Bay? Because if you do, you need to not make exactly 15 mistakes and then fumble every single mistake that the other team makes. And I give up, man. I've lost my energy. They lost the... Broke my water bottle. Damn. All in all, I was harsh on you, Green Bay, but it really was a great year. Jordan Love is your franchise quarterback, and you know, you got young receivers around him. You have the youngest roster in the NFL, too, so the future is bright, but be very careful with that word future. It can be a lot more valuable than you may think it is. But before we get into the last 2 games, it's time to talk to you about this video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you are probably already familiar with Underdog, but I'll explain it to you anyways. Basically, it's the easiest way to play fantasy sports, and my personal favorite way to do that is through the pick'em game format, where you simply choose whether you believe a player will go higher or lower on a singular stat, and depending on how many you can get right in a row, you can win up to 20 times your initial money. And for these upcoming playoff games, I've got 2 bets right here for you, which are Jameson Williams over 29.5 rushing plus receiving yards, and Lamar Jackson over 211 passing yards. So, if you want to tail this pick'em entry or make your own and you live in one of these many states in orange on the screen here, then click the link in the description to sign up with promo code TubFrog, and Underdog will match your first deposit of up to $100. Also, if you've never used my code before, then you can receive a free pick'em offer this week, where all Christian McCaffrey has to do is find a way to get a singular yard on Sunday, and you'll get a free square. So if that sounds good to you, then go have some fun on Underdog, and make sure to use promo code TubFrog for a massive discount. And with that, it's time for the final games. All right, let me calm down and let's look at a more tame game, right? This one was a little earlier than usual, which was also kind of nice, and it just kind of played into the whole vibe, you know, a more laid-back game where you kind of knew who was going to win throughout, but once again, like the Ravens-Texans game, there were scares. Early on, the Lions were playing so sloppy, and pretty much the only difference between the 2 teams was that the Lions actually caught the interception that should have been picked off, and the Bucs dropped the interception that should have been picked off. It was really a poor performance by the Lions. I was really shocked the way they came out at home, and they just kept the Bucs in the game when they really shouldn't have been whatsoever. I mean, is that just me? I feel like the Lions should have been winning this game by 20, and then with 30 seconds left, the entire tides of the game were turned when Mike Evans showed why he's still a good receiver, because remember, he's been having hands problems over the past couple of games, including the first half of this one, and made up for it with 2 massive grabs and a Kate Otten touchdown later, and just like the Texans game, everyone's saying, oh shit, the Lions are about to lose to the Buccaneers. However, those of you who believe that underestimate the power of Ben Johnson and I guess Brock Wright and Dan Campbell and his, dude, his nuts, man. His nuts are so big. And Craig Reynolds. That's the guy okay, whatever, sure. Craig Reynolds. Playoff touchdown, momentum swung entirely in Detroit's favor, and now all of a sudden people can start calming down a little bit. But Baker Mayfield answered. He answered right back with another touchdown. I mean, you gotta give him credit. Baker was playing his ass off in this game, but unfortunately, I mean, the Lions just have too much talent, man. They have too many good players. This is a Bucs team that is the remnants of a past championship winner, and, you know, the main guy of that team is gone, so with the other pieces left, it just wasn't enough. The Lions are just too hot. The Amon-Ra 3rd and 15 play was an absolute dagger, and then when he scored a touchdown a few plays later, that was it. But credit to Baker Mayfield, because the man just didn't die. And I'll say this right now, I feel like he's going to be in the league for at least the next 8 years. He's just going to be a guy that makes a few highlights here and there, and that you kind of think, well, maybe he's not that bad. And then he'll make another horrendous throw like this. Also, I mean, you gotta love that the game was basically sealed after this no call on the 2-point conversion. Ironic, but Bucs, Tampa Bay fans out there, you can't be disappointed with this loss. You really can't. I mean, this was a team that kicked your ass earlier this season, and you made the necessary adjustments. So now, all questions turn to what your team is even going to look like next year. I mean, Baker, Mike Evans, and I could go on and on, but there are tens of free agents that are crucial to this team that you need to make a massive decision on. But Also, Todd Bowles, I kind of owe you an apology. I wasn't super supportive of your head coaching job earlier this season, but if one thing is clear, as has been for almost the whole season, the man is a great defensive coordinator. But I will say I'm still not completely sold on him as a coach. Oh, are you ready? It's Chiefs-Bills, like part 17 in the playoffs yet again. Can Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills finally take down Patrick Mahomes? And no, they can't. I'm sorry for the spoiler. I really am. I'm sure you guys weren't aware already, but the Chiefs actually won this game. But, I mean, opportunities? Were they there? Absolutely they were. The Bills had so many chances to take this game, and honestly, for most of the first half, dare I say they were in control, but dude, Patrick Mahomes is so good, man. He's so good. And I hate that we have this man in our division. This is a dude that's making this Chiefs offense look damn near elite versus a Bills defense that is obviously injured beyond repair, but they're playing with heart, man. They're playing with heart, and that can't really be replaced, especially in the playoffs. So let's not underestimate what Mahomes did on Sunday. But early on, though, I did actually like the way the Bills were attacking. They seemed to be pretty aggressive as per usual, but I mean, as it piled up, there just happened to be so many like 3rd and 8s, I feel like, where the Bills just put themselves in an unfavorable situation and gave Mahomes just too many opportunities to touch the ball. And as was said all week, Travis Kelce against a linebacker core with maybe 4 active players was just killing him when it mattered most. And I mean, dread it and run from it, but the Kelce to Mahomes connection is still absolutely elite when it's at its best. But the Bills just kept answering, man. The balls to go at L'Jarius Sneed on 3rd and goal when you really need a touchdown. Rookie on one of the best defensive backs in football, and it worked. I mean, incredible stuff. And then, I mean, they keep on doing this, man. I understand that everyone hates the Chiefs, but I mean, look, I'm a Raiders fan, dude, and you gotta respect it. You gotta respect the resilience. They just kept punching back. The Bills playing with everything on the line. They have all the pressure in the world on them, honestly, to finally get it done, especially on their home field. But the Chiefs just have that championship Super Bowl DNA, and I willed the Bills to decide to go to Damar Hamlin on 4th down on a fake punt in their own territory. Not saying I agree with the call, but luckily the football gods smiled upon them, and in came the Derek Carr classic of Mecole Hardman. Can't believe he's still out of roster. Good for him. Good to see him making plays out there for the other team. But nobody can make a catch, and so the game goes on. The deadlock was in full effect, but the Bills couldn't get a touchdown, and if they can't score, you know, for a fact, minute and 47 seconds left, 2 timeouts, Patrick Mahomes has scored a touchdown. No questions asked, but you gotta make the field goal first. Here came Tyler Bass. Tyler Bass, one of the best field goal kickers in the National Football League, from 44 yards out. And I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the words. But you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm thinking of. You know what everyone was thinking of when they saw this. And the kick was no good. The little angry man ran for a 1st down, and that was it. The Bills lost to the Chiefs again. And look, condemn me for this if you want, but I was kind of rooting for the Chiefs because I just thought it would be really funny if the Bills lost again, and they lost again. And yeah, it's still pretty funny. I mean, they're never going to get over this hump, are they? This is the Chiefs at their absolute lowest point, and I know the Bills are at their lowest point, but even if they spend the entire offseason, like they damn near did, to beat the Chiefs, doesn't matter. The football gods are just going to take out their entire team with the plague, and come playoff time, they're not ready with their full strength. Would this Bills team have beaten the Chiefs at full strength? Probably, but we'll never know, and all we have to go off of is reality, and the reality we're looking at is despair. Again. Anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you did like this video, then watch this video that I just did a few days ago on the entire dynasty of the New England Patriots. It's pretty good, trust me. And also thanks to all my Patrons for pledging $1. It means a lot, but anyways, until next time.